Animation and visual effects have been a part of a storyteller's arsenal as early as the very first films by Georges Mellies and even before that. At some point, however, it became more complex, more industrialized. And having access to those tools and ways of expression, at a feature quality at least, became exclusive almost to members of the Hollywood club. Now, that did not stop indie filmmakers though to give it their best shot at experimenting with tools and effects, but it was super difficult and expensive to pull off back then. Now, fortunately, in 1994, a computer graphics software called Blender was born. And now, before we continue with this video, I just want to say that this is not like advertisement or a commercial for Blender. It's just a video about a very surprised filmmaker who truly believes that Blender right now is one of the most important tools we have as indie filmmakers in this day and age. So anyway, let's continue. Having the tools and knowledge available to create impactful works of art is essential to the modern artist. And Blender is precisely giving that to the digital art and independent filmmaking community, the tools and the knowledge to use them. Now, fast forward almost 30 years since Blender started, and today it's changing the filmmaking landscape. But how exactly, you may ask? Well, before that, I'd like to talk about how visual trickery can get you a long way in today's world. Let's take Fede Alvarez as an example. Originally from Uruguay, Fede Alvarez uploaded a video in 2009 called Panic Attack, mostly done by himself, including the visual effects. The short film gained mainstream attention to the point of being noticed by none other than director and producer Sam Raimi. A couple of years later, actually, Fede would have the chance to direct the remake of Raimi's cult classic Evil Dead. Of course, it's a bit of an oversimplification, but one could say that this little short film with a micro budget was the ticket to Hollywood for this charrua director. Another great example is David Sandberg, aka Pony Smasher, here on YouTube, his short films on YouTube. After posting his work online and winning a couple of awards and festivals, David's first ever job on a professional set was on his own feature film as a director.
On Lightsat, I did some of the visual effects myself, a lot of it with the help of Blender.
Again, we're talking about impactful work with many limitations, yes, of course, but creatively resolved. Now, these two past examples don't involve Blender directly. However, they prove the point that a micro-budget film can get you a long way in today's digital era. And this is where Blender comes into play. The perfect example for this is Colin Levy. After a couple of viral hits on YouTube using an old digital camera and Blender, Colin went on to direct Sintel, one of Blender Animation Studio first and one of the most successful short films they've made. Later on, he went on to work for Pixar as a layout artist, and now after directing a couple of more projects with Blender Animation Studios, he went on to develop a TV show based on his own short film, Skywatch, which is pretty mind-blowing. I personally consider that the work being produced nowadays in Blender is outstanding. Of course, its availability has sort of a consequence that a lot of people use it, therefore there's a lot of really bad amateur work. But you can just watch a couple of seconds of the work from artists like Ian Hubert, who I'll be, by the way, dedicating a full video later on, to understand that you can make some top-of-the-line feature-quality film projects with the help of Blender and a couple of crazy GPU melting artists out there that know how to use the software. In the age of virtual production and remote work, software like Blender is opening up the world to future artists. Today, Blender is a tool that integrates the whole production pipeline, from sketching ideas, modeling, match moving, motion tracking, compositing, rendering, pretty much doing the entire project. Companies like Epic Games, Google, Microsoft, and studios like Toei Animation are starting to embrace and incorporate Blender into their own pipelines. Now, it's important to mention that the fact that a particular software is free doesn't mean that it's any less professional than other applications. The main idea, what I'm trying to say with this video, is that there is a filmmaking tool out there that is not only free, but they can deliver quality digital art, and also with a huge global community willing to share and learn together. Many of us are only maybe a project away from breaking into the industry, and with the help of software like Blender, I think that that project is much more close to becoming a reality. Now, let me know in the comments if you have a particular artist or project that it's made in Blender and that you really enjoy or consider that it needs more attention. I'd love to watch you guys' recommendations, of course. Also, I love talking about like open source software and specifically Blender, so let me know if you'd like to see more videos about Blender, about this whole topic. Also, I'll be linking in the video description some more examples and content that will complement my ideas that I put throughout the video. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all that stuff, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.